Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be going over some of the questions in your packet, your review packet. I'm actually going to start with number 7 because I feel like most of you are probably okay with the Pythagorean theorem. So number 7, this is a 45, 45, 90, which means that the legs are the same. The hypotenuse we multiply by square root of 2. This becomes 4 square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2, so it's 8. Number 8, the legs are 3. Hypotenuse, you multiply by square root of 2. Number 9, we're given the hypotenuse. So to find a leg, we divide by square root of 2. Those cancel, just leaving us with 8. And the legs are the same. They're both 8. Number 10, to find a leg, we divide by square root of 2. And to get rid of a square root, we do what's called rationalizing. And the 4 over 2 simplifies just to 2. So 2 square root of 2. So if x is 2 square root of 2, so is y. Getting on to some 30, 60, 90 triangles. We are given the short leg. To find the hypotenuse, it's 2 times the short leg, so 10. To find the long leg, we take the short leg times the square root of 3. Number 12, to find the hypotenuse, 3 over 2 times 2. That would be 6 over 2, which is 3. And to find the long leg, we multiply by square root of 3. So that's 3 radical 3 over 2. Number 13. This one was a little bit harder just because it required a lot of knowledge on fractions. So we're given the hypotenuse. Okay. To go from the hypotenuse to the short leg, that is, you have to divide by 2. Dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2. So 16 square root of 3 over 3. I can multiply it by 1/2. That's the same as dividing by 2. So this is 16 square root of 3 over 6, which simplifies to 8 square root of 3 over 3. Now, to find the long leg, we take the short leg times square root of 3. So that becomes 8 square root of 9 over 3. Square root of 9, is 3. Well, sorry. So this is 8 times 3 divided by 3. So the 3's cancel, giving us 8. I'm going to skip to number 17. This one, the first triangle that we're going to look at is right here. Okay, and we're given the hypotenuse, which means that the short leg is 4 and the long leg is 4 radical 3. Now that long leg is also the hypotenuse of this 45, 45, 90. So in order to find one of the legs, we have to take 4 radical 3 and divide.
Faculty, Miss Becky Smith wants to remind everybody that if you want a cone of ice, to come down and get one.
Divide by square root of 2, and then we will rationalize. So times square root of 2 times square root of 2 equals 4 radical 6 over 2, which is 2 radical 6. Number 18. Now before we get into number 18, I've got to show you something that I didn't teach you. This is actually something we do in Algebra 2, but it won't hurt you to know it. So there are things that we call perfect squares. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, and so on. When we're taking the square root of a number that is not a perfect square, and you go to type that in the calculator, you're going to get a decimal. So we simplify the radicals. The way we do this is we look for the largest perfect square that will go into 32. So if I take 32 divided by 36, doesn't go in evenly. 25 doesn't go evenly, but 16 does. 32 is 16 times 2. And we know that the square root of 16 is 4, left with the radical 2. So square root of 32 simplifies to 4 square root of 2. So now let's get back to our problem. Number 18, we have a leg that's 10 square root of 6. The hypotenuse is 10 square root of 6 times square root of 2, which is 10 square root of 12. We could simplify square root of 12 now. I think it's easier just to get to the end and wait and simplify it at the end. So we have a 45, 45, 90, where a leg is 10 square root of 12. So in order to do the hypotenuse, we have to multiply by square root of 2. And we get 10 square root of 24. Now is where we simplify. So just like we did with the 32, we're going to simplify square root of 24. We want to find the biggest perfect square that will divide evenly into 24. So it looks like the only one is going to be 4. No other perfect square goes evenly into 24. So we can divide it by 4, and that leaves us with 6. 4 times 6 is 24. And we know the square root of 4 is 2. So 2 square root of 6. So this becomes 10 times 2 square root of 6, which is 20 square root of 6. You don't have to worry about having, I don't think you'll have any like that on the test. These are way harder than that, so if you can do those, you're golden. All right, number 19, we have a hypotenuse of 6 on this 45, 45, 90. So the leg is 6 divided by square root of 2. But remember, we have to rationalize to get 6 square root of 2 over 2, which is 3 square root of 2. Now that becomes the short leg of my 30, 60, 90. So to get the hypotenuse, I multiply by 2. 6 square root of 2. All right. Number 20. This one I was given the hypotenuse of a 45, 45, 90. So to get the leg, we have to divide by the square root of 2. And you can divide square roots. Just like you divide numbers. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Just keep that under the square root. So 6 square root of 3. And that 6 square root of 3 is the hypotenuse of the 45, 45, 90, the smaller one. And to find the leg, 6 square root of 3, when I divide that by square root of 2. This time, I don't get a whole number when I take 3 divided by 2. So what we could do is multiply the top and the bottom by square root of 2. You could have done this on the other part. It just would have been a lot more work. So you can avoid it if you can. So this becomes 6 square root of 6 over 2, which is 3 square root of 6. Number 21, 22, I feel like you should probably be good on those. Remember with 21, your base and your height are the two numbers that create the 90 degrees. That 4.6 was not needed. All right, getting to 25. This is a trapezoid. Area is half times the height times base 1 plus base 2. And so if we fill in, 62.3 equals 1/2 times 8.3 times 11.9 plus, I'm just going to call that x. Now I can go ahead and multiply 1/2 times 8.3 to get 4.15. Okay. And then I could divide both sides by 4.15. And we get 15.012 equals 11.9 plus x. And then if we subtract 11.9, we get 3.11 equals x. Let's see if that's right. That was, what number was that? 25. 3.1, yeah, good. Number 26, area is half times base times height. So 18.3 is half times x times 4.2. Now we can go ahead and multiply these two numbers together. 18.3 equals 2.1x. And then I divide both sides by 2.1 to get 8.71 equals x. All right. Now for these last ones, you needed to find the base of the triangle. So we had to do Pythagorean Theorem. So to get this length, we do 7 squared plus b squared equals 10 squared. So 49 plus b squared equals 100. So b squared equals 51. And square root of that, b equals 7.14. So this side is 7.14. So to find the area for the base, that would be 16.14. 9 plus 7.14 times our height. And we get 56.49. Let's see if I did it right. 27. Not bad. Alright, and 28 is the same way. I'm not going to work that one out, but you do it the exact same way. If you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully this helped those of you that had questions. And if you're still stuck after this, don't hesitate to reach out. I will explain it a little bit differently. Bye, guys.